Hey guys, in my opinion, the worst type of person to be friends with is leeches in all senses of the word. And I'm going to talk about three major senses of the word. And the last one's going to be the most important, so make sure you stick to the end. Hey guys, in my opinion, the worst type of person to become friends with is leeches in all senses of the word. But I'm going to talk about three important ones, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about the most important. The most important one is the third one, so make sure that you stick until the end. So the first type of leech is a pessimistic person, right? So somebody who always just tries to find the negative in a situation, a glass half empty person, somebody who just cannot see the good in any situation, and they just want to look at. And there could be a good aspect to this. There could be criticism. There could be a want to constantly improve. But I'm talking. There's a very clear difference that you can probably detect pretty easily, and it's like people who always want to improve and always kind of like the David Guardians, like they're always kind of criticizing their own life, or there's people who just complain, or they just always gnash their teeth and they can never find the good in any situation. They can never be grateful. Gratitude's a big part of it, right? They're not grateful people at all, and they take what they have for granted. And the biggest issue with this type of person is that when you're around these type of people, you can never really be happy, right? If you're happy, then they're gonna ruin it somehow. They're gonna be like, let's say you're having a picnic, and you're eating, and you're like, wow, this food's so good, and they're gonna be here complaining. They're gonna be like, yeah, but there's like mosquitoes everywhere, and the bugs are like trying to bite me and stuff, and this carpet's kind of like this rug, like the picnic blanket, whatever. It's kind of itchy, and they just find the worst in every situation. They're not seeing the bigger picture. They're not actually seeing the good of the situation. Now, that is gonna, when you're supposed to be having fun, when you're supposed to be with your friends, as so-called friends, and you're supposed to be having fun, instead they're just complaining and they're gnashing their teeth, and that just brings the whole energy down. It's like their negativity always beats out any positivity that you could have, right? It's always more overpowering, right? So if you're trying to enjoy the picnic and they just keep complaining, maybe they're talking about something else, they're talking about some drama or something. If they're always complaining and you're trying to have fun, then you're no longer going to get your happiness and your contentness and your fun from that picnic or whatever fun activity, whatever, hanging out with your friends. And then you're going to have to, relax and have fun somehow, because obviously your friends, or whatever bad friend that is not cutting it, because they're obviously just bringing complaining and stuff like that to the table. So you're going to need to get that happiness from somewhere, and so you're going to have no other option but to get it from bad dopamine sources, like what I'm talking about, like video games and like gambling, like stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. So if you don't have genuine sources of I don't know all the hormone names, like a serotonin, like the positive happiness whatever molecule, then you're going to look for cheap dopamine from other facets of your life, and obviously we all know how bad effects that could have. Now the second type of person that really sucks, the second type of leech, is narcissists. So people who only talk about themselves, either positive or negative. Either they're always gassing themselves up, or they could just be talking about some drama that they have and everything going on in their life, and all the troubles that they have. Maybe they just need to vent to someone because, I don't know, their parents not in the picture. They don't have their parents to vent to or something. I don't know what's going on, but if they're always complaining talking to about themselves only, probably because they don't have some sort of other parent or something to talk to them about, probably because they don't have some sort of parent or something, to talk to that about, then they're always going to be then you're not going to be able to get any value from their conversations or any value with you guys being together, because they're only in that friendship, that quote-unquote friendship, for their own benefit, right? They don't care about you at all. They're only talking about themselves, and when they're talking to you about themselves, they're not doing it because they want to inform you, or because they care about you, or because they want to teach you a lesson or something. They're doing it so that they could get it off their chest. They could have someone else hear it, and you're just not going to get any value from that. You're going to get brain fog, because now you're going to be thinking about that, and you're once again not going to be having fun with that person at that time. So you're going to get dopamine from other sources, and that might seem like good people at first. They're making you laugh, they're funny, and they're entertaining, stuff like that. But that's because they want attention for themselves, because once again they're narcissists, they only care about themselves, whether positive or negative, whatever emotion it is. So narcissists are just a huge waste of time, and you're going to start picking up on those traits, obviously, because of the quote, like, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. You're going to start picking up on those traits, and your life's obviously just going to get worse. Now the worst, the grand finale for the worst type of person that you do not want to involve yourself with, the worst type of leech, is people that look down on you, that people that like criticize you when you try to improve yourself, when you try to become a better person, when you're doing self-improvement stuff. Let's just say like you're in the locker room and you decide to just randomly just push out 50 push-ups, right? Just because you wanted to challenge yourself, you don't have any reason to, but you just thought, you know what, let me just do 50 push-ups right now even though I don't want to. And I don't know, maybe I've seen this with some people before. Somebody once told me like they force themselves to do like 10 or 20 push-ups or whatever it was whenever they think of it in their mind, because they don't feel like it at that time, and that challenges their brain. It's less about like the muscle mass, but it's more about like challenging yourself, which is a good thing that I don't know, you might want to try that too. But let's say you tell your friend that you started doing that, you started forcing yourself to do push-ups whenever you didn't feel like it, and then you just think like, wait, let me just do that right now, let me just do 20 push-ups right now because I just thought of it again. And then your friend's like, that's so weird, bro, everybody's looking at you. You're not even getting muscle from that. You think bro thinks he's David Goggins, like, and those type of people, you do not want to mess with those people, because I mean it's so self-explanatory, it's so obvious. And the reason that they probably do what they're doing, the reason that they probably criticize you when you're improving yourself, is probably because when they see you grow, they probably feel worse about themselves because they're not improving as much as you. And instead of fixing their life and improving their own life, and trying to match your level, trying to improve, instead of going up. So let's say this is where you guys are right now, and you tell them about the push-up, whatever, and you're like getting more progress, right? Because you're challenging yourself, and you're pushing yourself further, and you're more up here now. Instead of them matching you here and being like, let's improve together, which is the type of people that you definitely want to meet, you definitely want to be with people that improve alongside you and that you always are challenging each other. Instead of going up and up and up more with you, instead of improving alongside you, they're actually dragging you down. So you're here, they're down here, they drag you down like crabs in a bucket, right? If there's a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one tries to get out, even though it serves no benefit for the other crabs in the bucket, like they still try to pull them down. Like in like mass farming and stuff, when there's a bunch of crabs and they throw them in the bucket, it doesn't serve any benefit to the other crabs at the bottom, like if one of them tries to leave. But if one of them does and they're almost out, they pull them back down so that they don't escape, right? So you definitely want to avoid crabs because they're going to just keep putting you down and down. And it's going to be a competition of who can be worse, right? Because you're going to be up here and they're going to drag you down here. And they're going to go lower and they're going to drag you lower. So it's just going to become worse and worse. It's going to be a horrible cycle. And you just want to flat out ignore these people when they criticize you, because the biggest thing, like especially when you're like my age, like high school, stuff like that, high school, middle school, I don't know if there's any middle schoolers watching this, but like the biggest thing, especially when you're young, is that you want to have status, you want people to like you, and if you're trying to improve and you're like in the minority, and a lot of people are like criticizing you, obviously because they want to become like you, they're actually jealous, but they want to show it as if like they're better than you, because that gives them more status. You're going to seem like you have lower status. And the worst thing, if you're in high school or middle school or whatever, is to like, have lower status, right? The status is the number one thing. It's like, and the whole purpose of people wanting status goes back to our ancestors. And you want to match yourself more with people who constantly want you to improve and constantly improve alongside you, almost like a ladder. Like you just keep going up one step at a time, like, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. And this is like the whole idea around monopolies too, like a company like Apple having a monopoly on phones. Their quality is just going to get worse and worse and worse if they're the only monopoly, because they could just cut down prices more. If they're like the one person that everybody's buying phones from, they're like, okay, well the quality's getting worse and the prices are getting higher because they're getting more greedy, but I don't really have any other options. Am I going to get a OnePlus? Am I going to really get a OnePlus phone? Like, Apple has a monopoly. So everybody's going to get an iPhone, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. But if there's competition, if there's no monopoly, if there's Apple and Samsung and Apple and Samsung, and there's all these different companies all making better phones, they're making a foldable phone, and now they're making a triple foldable phone, and now they have better cameras, bigger cameras, and bigger screens, and higher battery life, all that stuff. It's just going to be more and more competition, and the prices are going to be super competitive, and it's going to be better for the customers in the long term. So Yeah, that's my yap session.
We pop out that one in the morning, you really wanna know this kind of life never boring.